Hey guys, welcome to today's teaching. Um, yeah, so hopefully you remember what we learned about last week. We learned about how David, after realizing that everything is now good, he wanted to build the house of God, but God had other plans, and we answered the question: would if David did not have the heart or the desire to build God's house, would Solomon had the desire, or was God going to now put it upon himself to decide who built the house for him? And we learned through the teaching that God always makes a plan. So God always makes a plan. So it's just that because of David's heart, he had the desire in him, and basically he saw God's plan. So yeah, in today's reading, we are going to read 2 Samuel verse 8 from verse 2 Samuel chapter 1 verse yeah 2 Samuel chapter 8 verse 1 until verse 18. So it's not that long, but yeah, it is longish. So the question that I have for you guys today is, if a new business comes in the neighborhood, are you going to align yourself with them and maybe do partnerships, and then we can work together and build the community, or you're going to compete with them? It doesn't matter whether they are selling the same thing or different things, but what would you do? Would you align yourself with them, or you would compete with them? So let's find out what the kings did in this teaching. Where's my bookmark? Okay. Oh yeah, found it. Yay. Okay. So let's get going. 2 Samuel chapter 8 verse 1 until 18 or 19. 18. Let's go. We learn about David's victories. The man was victorious. The man was victorious. Obviously, this is what Saul wanted, but he never could submit to God or do what he was asked to do. So he ended up just doing his own thing, and obviously, without God's blessing, he didn't go far. So now let's see. After this, David defeated the Philistines and subdued them, and David took Metheg Ammah out of the hand of the Philistines. So as you can see, the common denominator with a lot of the book of Samuel is the Philistines, the Philistines, the Philistines. They were Israel's biggest opponent. Like from Saul to, well, basically, yeah, just talking about the book of Samuel. I'm not talking about everything before, just the book of Samuel. They were Israel's biggest opponent throughout Saul's reign and now into David's reign. But the difference is that because of David's submission, he is actually defeating them more than once. And now we learn that David took Metheg Ammah out of the hand of the Philistines. So what is Metheg Ammah? Ammah. There's no R, so Metheg Ammah. So Metheg Ammah is a city. It was basically the capital city of the Philistines, whatever the city was, and David took control of it. So as you know, every country has its capital city, and Metheg Ammah was taken over from the Philistines by David. So what does it signify when a new king takes over the capital city of a country or a kingdom? I don't know. Let's see. So yeah, Metheg Ammah, it signifies the government control. First of all, that's where the president, not the president, but yeah, it depends where they live. I don't know, but the powerhouse of the country or the government. So it signifies government control, central command, and financial hub. So when he took over. Basically, he cut them at their feet. And yeah, so this also signifies a massive victory, because it is easy to, I feel like when you're fighting, it is easy to take over one town, but the capital city, that is also where most of the country's power is. So most of the army would be, because they have to defend their, I don't know, livelihood. Yeah. And yeah, let's go. Now we are in verse 3. Verse 2. And he defeated Moab, and he measured them with a lion, making them lie down on the ground. So 2 lions he measured to be put to death, and 1 full lion to be spared. And the Moabites became servants to David and brought tribute to David. So this is how David decided to deal with the people. The Moabites. Remember, after the Philistines, he went over and took over the Moabites. So this is how he decided to eliminate them. Okay, let's make 3 lines. So I'm assuming that you don't know what your line means. So you have 3 people just standing in 3 lines here. You don't know if this you will be safe, or this you will be safe, or this you will be safe. I'm assuming, obviously. I could be wrong. So David put them in 3 lines and decided to kill the 2 and spare the 1. So yeah, now the people that remained, that he did not kill, the 1 line, they became his servants and brought tributes to David. Yeah. And also David defeated Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zobah, and he went to restore his powers to the Philistines, to the Euphrates. So why was Hadadezer going to restore his power to the Euphrates? What does it mean? Because Euphrates, oh my goodness, Euphrates is a river. So what was he going to do at the river? So David defeated Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zobah, and he went to restore his power at the river Euphrates. So how? They were marching. David also defeated Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zobah, and as he went to restore his power. And so how they marching out to establish dominion and set up monument of his authority. So that's how Hadadezer, oh my goodness, was going to restore his re-establish his dominion. So marching out, like maybe to give people the courage, like as we go into the Euphrates, and also to restore his power at the river. I mean, to set up a monument of his authority. So he wants to show people that this is my place, so this is mine. You have to take it from me if you want it. But David was like, bring it on. So David defeated Hadadezer forces before he could secure the northern the northern border. Yeah. So David was able to defeat him before he could actually get to restore his power, like assert his authority, and reestablish and expand his dominion over the vital trade routes and the border. So I think the Euphrates could have been now like the capital city. I don't know, because as a like obviously as in the kingdom days when people are fighting, you conquer and take control, conquer and take control, conquer and take control. So Hadadezer wanted to conquer and take control of the Euphrates so that he could expand and re-establish his dominion over the vital trade route. So the Euphrates was basically a business route because it's a river, so there were no cars back then, so they had to transport everything via the sea. So David defeated them before they could even get there. Oh, nice. And David took from him 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 foot soldiers. So 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 foot soldiers. And David hamstrung all the chariot horses, but left enough for the 100 chariots. So poor horses. Like, I mean, if people are getting killed, what are horses? So what does it mean to hamstrung a horse? So he basically severed the large tendon of the hamstring, so permanently disabling the horse. Yep. So he permanently disabled the crippled the horses, and by sever. So basically they will not be able to use their hind legs, because as a horse walks on four legs. So the front legs are not as strong as the back legs, let's be honest. So he hamstrung the back legs, and then now I don't know if they could still walk. I don't know, but he basically disabled them, thinking then because they couldn't move or find food or whatever over some time, they probably died in the wilderness. In the wilderness. And then David put okay, back. Let's go back to verse 4. And David took from him 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 foot soldiers. And David hamstrung all the chariot horses, but he left enough for the 100 chariots. So obviously these were the 100 chariots that he was taking with. I don't know if you can't take everything. You have to decide what's important. So he decided that out of all the many horses, 100 were just only going to be enough. So he spared only 100. And when the Syrians of Damascus came to help Hadadezer, king of Zobah, David struck down 22,000 of the Syrians. So now is this you aligning with like just basically keeping your loyalty, remaining loyal to the people that you promise your alliance? Is this the result of that? Because if you choose to not look at the situation or the people themselves, and then you just go blindly choosing to remain loyal to your alliance, it could also lead to your death. So now looking at the Syrians, they were like, we don't want, obviously, you like when you see someone slaughtering your people, or at least your friends or your allies, you want to help them, right? So it feels like it was right for the Syrians to not mind their own business at this time, but then it also led to their demise. So the Syrians now decided to make themselves part of David's casualties. Then David put garrisons in Aram of Damascus, and the Syrians became servants to David and brought tribute. And the Lord gave victory to David wherever he went. So there is like when you are reading most of David's story, you hear about how the Lord the Lord gave victory to David. The Lord gave victory to David. The Lord gave victory to David, which shows that as much as David knows that he availed himself, it was only possible because of God. So he gives God the glory. The Lord gives victory to David. The Lord allowed David the opportunity to come out of the situation alive. So David is just giving back the glory, giving back the honor. Like, this is all thanks to God. So yeah, at first we also learned that the Moabites, when they were defeated by David, remember there were Moabites divided in 3 lines. David killed the 2 lines and then left one, and then this one line they had to give bring tributes to David. And now we also learn about the Syrians, who also became David's servants, and then they also brought tributes to David. So it means that whenever a new kingdom take over, the remaining had to bring tribute. I spared your life. I could have easily taken your life, so you have to show me that you are grateful to be alive. I'm thinking that's how they thought about all of this. But yeah, and they brought tribute to David, and the Lord gave victory to David, and wherever he went. Imagine, I feel like it would be such a beautiful blessing to know that the Lord gives victory to me everywhere I go. Like, it means that you also see God throughout everything. It's not just you doing your thing, or you just finishing the task, or making sure you achieve it like by all your might or by all your power. As Zechariah 4:7 says, it's not by might or strength, it's by the Spirit of God who lives within me. So it is not about what you can do, it is by the Spirit of God who is within you. And as you honor him, he honors you back. We learned about this also in chapter 8, where David was only thinking of building the Lord a house, but because David thought of the Lord honored David. So as you put God first, he puts you first. Like, I feel like it's a beautiful relationship. He's just showing you how much he loves you, and how beautiful it can be when we work together. You submit to God and he makes everything works out for you. But it's not, yeah, I just mean, okay. Yeah. And David took the shield of gold that were carried by the servant of Hadadezer and brought them to Jerusalem. And from Betha and from Bethotai, cities of Hadadezer, King David took a very much bronze. The man was just plundering and taking everything. I mean, he defeated them. What else is there? So he just went to claim what was his. Hadadezer was no longer the king. So David is just taking what is his. And after war, as the war ends, everybody has to take what is theirs. And if I defeat you, I keep what was yours. So yeah. But when Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had defeated the whole army of Hadadezer. So who is Toi? Who is Toi, king of Hadadezer? Okay. So when Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had defeated the whole army of Hadadezer, Toi sent his son Joram to King David to ask about his health and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and defeated him. For Hadadezer had often been at war with Toi. So, like, I like how Toi was like, your enemy, my enemy. You defeated my enemy, so you are now my friend. You saved me from the hands of my enemy, so now you are my friend. So back to our question, if a new business comes into town, where would you go? Would you align yourself with them, or would you compete with them? Because either way, you can't, it's not possible to just be in the middle. I mean, I don't know about Korea, because there's too many of the same kind of business near each other, and enough people. I guess they just have enough people for everything. But either way, that's not the point. The point is, if a new business opens in town, you are the old business owner. Do you align yourself with them? Are you like, okay guys, welcome, this is how we do things, and then you help them through, and then you work them, like, whatever, introduce them around, whatever? Or you're like, how could you, how dare you, like, or do you take offense, or how do you position yourself when you find out there is new business in town? I like how Toi, king of Hamath, did, because if you remember, in when King David was first anointed, remember, he was living with the Philistines before he was anointed king, and when he had to run away from Saul, so he was living with the Philistines. But then after Saul's death, so Israel anointed David, and now David is king. And then the Philistines' first thought was like, yay, we don't want any issues. Let's nip it in the bud before it gets any far. So they decided to oppose David. I'm not saying they were ever, I mean, they always had a history. I'm not saying they were not going to, but the fact that they did not want to even wait, they decided to attack him on the same day that they heard that he was now king. And of course they lost. But then now Toi finds out that King David defeated his enemy. He now sends his son Joram to King David to ask about his health. So he did in two ways. One, ask about his health, and two, bless him. So ask, hey, how are you? I'm okay. I mean, especially considering that we just came from a serious battle, a serious war. How are you? Is everyone okay? Obviously, you also find out how the whole thing went. So he told him, and then he also gave him, blessed him with, he blessed him. And Joram bought him. Okay, let's go back. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. And Toi sent his son Joram to King David to ask about his health and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and defeated him. For Hadadezer had often been at war with Toi. So thank you for defeating my enemy. Now I no longer, not necessarily no longer, I have to be blind, but I no longer have to suffer because of them. So thank you. He showed his appreciation, and Joram brought with him articles of silver, of gold, and of bronze. So silver, gold, and bronze, obviously these were very valuable things. And this also King David dedicated to the Lord, together with the silver, gold that he dedicated from all the nations he subdued. What I like about David is that everything that he got, every win, he dedicated it to the Lord. He was never like, I have to think about myself, I have to think about my family, our future, make sure that my children are taken care of. It's like, no, I trust my Lord. My Lord will provide for me. I trust my Lord. So everything that he got, he dedicated it to the Lord, which is why the Lord just kept on honoring David, honoring him, honoring him, honoring him, because this man just kept on honoring God. In everything he got, he gave glory to God, and God was like, thank you, my child. Thank you, my son. So verse 12, from Edom, Moab, and the Ammonite, from Edom, Moab, Ammonites, the Philistines, Amalek, and from the spoil of Hadadezer, the son of Rehob, king of Zob. Yeah, Hebrew names. Yeah, that lap. And David made a name for himself when he returned from striking down 18,000 Edomites in the valley of Salt. Then he put garrisons in Edom throughout all Edom. He put garrisons, and all the Edomites became David's servants, and the Lord gave victory to David wherever he went. Again, here we go. The Lord gave victory to David wherever he went. And now also David also now subduing the Edomites. The man was on fire. This man is on fire. Now we're on in verse 15. David's officials. David reigned over all Israel, and David administered justice and equity to all the people. Is it possible for a ruler to administer justice and equity to all the people? Is it? But it seems David was able to. Not because he was doing it out of his own might or his own strength, his own power, but because he relied on the Lord. So obviously the people didn't have to worry about the minor things, because David was taking care of them with God. God knows his people, and yeah, God took care of them. Job, the son of Zeruiah, was over the army, and Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, was the recorder. So if you remember, Job has been in David's army, the commander of David's army for the longest time, before David was even actively a king, when David was still running from Saul. So we can say he was faithful, but yeah. And Zadok, the son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, the son of Abiathar, were priest, and Sarai was secretary, and Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the Cherethites and the Pelethites, and David's sons were priests. That's about it, ladies and gentlemen. I know it wasn't that long today, and it wasn't as complicated, but thank you for joining us. I think it is important, before you choose your alliance, guys, pray, read the word of God and pray. These two important things will guide you. God, and obviously when you pray, you talk to God, and God talks to you through the word. But these things will guide you in the decisions that you make, so you will not have to worry about if you align yourself with the right people, or if you can trust them. And someone with an open heart and a good heart, you tend to invite more fortune if you treat people well. You tend to if I welcome you into the neighborhood, I show you around, it's very, very easy for this business to continue well, other than for me to compete with you, and then one of us will eventually die. So of course we don't know which one it could be, but if I welcome you, we can help each other out. So that's the lesson of the day, ladies and gentlemen. And as you all know, that our help comes from God, as we learn to submit and trust in God. It's not easy. God never promised us an easy life. He just promised to be with us through every challenge. So Whatever you are going through, know that God is with you. Trust God. He didn't make you by mistake. So trust God and be obedient to His word, and you will see God through all the things that you do, all the decisions you make, your day-to-day life, you will see God. And in Jesus' name, I thank you guys and I love you. I will see you all next time. Bye bye.